I have felt this shift over the last several years, and let me know if you felt it too, where people are just kind of fed up with the current system and the conventional way of living. I think people are realizing that the way we do things simply isn't working anymore. Getting the education, hopping into the career, and working your entire life for a cause that you might not believe in, for people that don't really care about you, for just enough to get by, it's not working for a lot of people, especially today because greed has put a stranglehold on society. It's now profit over people, and people are treated like dirt in the workforce. And most people don't get paid nearly enough to endure the crap they have to put up with. So that has left millions of people searching for a way out. There has to be a better way, and there has to be more to life than this. It's weighing heavy on people's minds, and that is causing people to search for that better way. And a natural solution people are reaching is escaping the rat race. Side hustles, self-employment, and entrepreneurship are massively growing trends. For many, it seems like the only logical choice. And I can relate to all this because a couple years ago, that was me. I was in that camp of thinking there has to be more to life, and I was ready for a change in the next step that was going to renew that spark that so many of us are losing today. So I left. I took a leap of faith, and I decided to go all in on myself. I was either going to sink or swim, so I chose to swim. And if you listen to all the people out there that are trying to sell you that dream, the dream of being your own boss and making your own rules, you'll hear all the positives and how easy life becomes, which, don't get me wrong, is true to an extent, but nobody talks about the dark side of things. Because I can tell you after 2 years of being out on my own that there is in fact a dark side. And it's not a dark side in that the solo path is bad or that it's so easy you get bored. The dark side, and the side that I immediately experienced, is that it's hard. And hard is good, don't get me wrong. I embrace discomfort and I seek it out. I love to be challenged because when you're uncomfortable, you're learning, you're growing. But when I left, I immediately realized that I had committed a cardinal sin by pigeonholing myself in a specific career for my entire adult life and never stepping outside of that. That is why it's hard. And I've learned that doing that was a huge mistake, because I've now realized that society intentionally programs us from birth to walk that very specific path, to find a conventional role in society and never deviate from it. It's designed to be that way because it keeps the machine running. The system is built off the backs of hard-working men and women, and it relies on them to consume and contribute. It relies on people making just enough, paying just enough, and hoping just enough to keep them continually striving for more. If I could just work harder, if I could just get that promotion, if I could just get that job, then I'll have enough money to buy the nice car. Then I'll have enough money to buy the big house. Then I'll have enough money to finally be happy. But even after getting all those things, it is never enough. And that was me. It's the perpetual pursuit of more. And the system does not want people realizing that less is more. It does not want people breaking out of that cycle, because without people participating, the entire system falls apart. And I'm not saying that if I had known all this stuff sooner that I would have walked away sooner. But I definitely would have taken the steps to learn how to function independently, outside of the conventional systems of control, a whole lot sooner. Because now that I've walked away from that system, all of this has become abundantly clear. And I'm now having to unlearn a lifetime of programming and indoctrination. And I'm having to learn an entirely new set of skills that are completely foreign to me because they were hidden from me. And I think back on my education, 2 degrees later, and not a shred of how to function outside of the conventional system was ever taught to me. Tens of thousands of dollars of education, and not one mention on how to start a business. Not one mention about investing. Not one mention of how to be independent, or how to save, or how to not be reliant, or how to not be a consumer. So I'm now realizing that the key to beating the system and succeeding today is diversification. And I think this is especially true today. I have learned that diversifying your life and your skills and your knowledge is just as important as diversifying your investments. Because the fact is, things are changing rapidly. No one can predict where the future is headed. People feel the uncertainty in the air. And if people aren't prepared, they might find themselves in a bind in the very near future. And if people do what I did and they don't take the time to diversify their lives early, they might find themselves in a position where they're forced into doing that at a time that is not ideal. They might find themselves being forced to unlearn years of programming, not because they want to, but because they don't have a choice. And this entire experience, it has been a huge eye-opener because it has shined a glaring light on just how well the programming and the current system works. And I often ask myself, if they're trying this hard to keep all this stuff hidden from us, what else are they hiding in the name of maintaining their best interests over the best interests of the people? Well, the beautiful thing about removing yourself from the conventional system of control is that it affords you plenty of time to search for the answers to those questions. And I can tell you that they're hiding a lot. And as the old saying goes, the truth shall set you free. And the truth, as I see it anyway, is that the conventional system has done a great job at keeping us from looking inward. It has created an environment that is so outward focused that we lose sight of ourselves and what we truly want. And by spending half my life, or really my entire life when you factor in education, I developed habits and qualities built around something that I'm now finding that I don't even align with. But I've only just discovered that because I now have the time and freedom to look within. And more importantly, I have the silence and peace to do so, because when I was wrapped up in school and work, that was my focus. And it's designed to be that way. And the longer I spent in that system, the more focus and attention it took. And before long, my entire life was work. So if there was one thing I wish I did differently, it would be that I just wish that I came to these realizations sooner, that I took the time to diversify my life and focus on my own wants and desires by learning the skills that they do their very best to hide from us. And that's what I believe people should be advocating for. They shouldn't be advocating for walking away and figuring it out. They should be advocating for doing the work now, early, so that when you're inevitably ready to escape the corrupt system and start walking a path that's true to you, that you have the knowledge and skills to do so. We should be advocating for making that time for yourself to get to know yourself on a fundamental level and figuring out what it is that you truly want in this life. And above all else, we should be advocating for making life quiet and peaceful enough to do so. Because in a world full of chaos and distractions, peace is quickly becoming our most sacred and valuable asset. So if you take one thing away from this, just let it be that we don't need to be reliant on the system to establish our own version of success. There are an infinite number of ways to do that. And with the rise of AI and the mass layoffs and all the uncertainty surrounding us today, it pays to start thinking about these things now. What are the things you can do to save money? What steps can you take to learn the skills you need to establish your version of success? And I think it's fundamentally important to realize that the system needs us far more than we need it. They intentionally gatekeep and hide things from our view because they need us. So they do their best to trap us. But always remember, it doesn't matter how well the trap works, there is always a way out.